Welcome students, welcome to the computer science class. Today we will discuss about the storage devices and the processing device of the computer of your chapter Fundamentals of Computer, that is the chapter 1 of your book IT Planet. In the previous tutorial, we have discussed about the input and output devices. We have seen what are the various kind of input devices we are using. We can use to give instructions to the computer or to send data to a particular interface of a software. And what are the various output devices that are showing us, that are displaying us the result of computation on the output device. What are the various output devices we have seen? Now in this tutorial we will see what are the storage devices that are used in a computer system. Now, storage device, what do you mean by a storage device? It's a kind of memory, but the kind of permanent memory. It's not a temporary memory. A computer has got both primary and secondary memory. The primary memory is a temporary one, but the secondary memory is a permanent one. That is, it is a storage device. The term storage means permanent storage, not only for the time the computer is turned on. It stores the data and instructions permanently on it, and you can retrieve those data anytime you require till the device is working all right, till the device is physically fit and is working all right. Physically fit means it is electronically and physically fit. It is transmitting data at its own rate, at its stable rate. So that's why a storage device means a permanent storage. Always remember, right? Now let's start. The storage devices enable us to store data and information. They can hold data, instructions, and information for future use. So why do we store data? We store data and instructions for our future use. We assume that we may require those data in our future, and so we store them. And where do we store them? We store them on devices like hard disk drive. We store on some optical disks like CD-ROM or DVD-ROM, or we store it in some flash drive like a pen drive, right? So let's see each of them in detail. So what do you mean by a hard disk? A hard disk drive or a hard drive, also called hard disk drive or hard disk, is our computer's main permanent storage area. It's the permanent storage area, right? It is always connected to the computer inside the system unit. The hard drive sits inside the computer case and stores our programs and documents. It is a disk pack that consists of inflexible circular platters that use magnetic particles to store data, instructions, and information. Most current hard disk drives have a storage capacity of 500 GB to 8 GB and even more. So many kind of devices from lighter storage to heavy storage devices are present. The devices which are used in the server computers should have the bigger storage capacity. So accordingly, according to the need of the user, the hard disk drives are kept. Hard disk drives are connected with the computer system, and they are used for permanent storage area. They are used as permanent storage area. In our computers, in our desktop computers or in laptop computers, we have generally a hard disk of 500 GB or 1 TB or maximum 2 TB. But in a computer which where the user may need more storage area, they may be having a hard disk of greater capacity. Okay, so you have to understand and remember that hard disks are permanent storage area of your computer, right? And data on the hard disk are fetched to the primary memory so that it can be processed, so that it can be used by the processor of the computer, right? Some data that is there in the hard disk cannot be directly processed by the processor. It has to be taken to the main memory of the computer. Main memory means the RAM, random access memory. It should be transmitted to the RAM, and RAM transfers it to the CPU registers, and CPU can process the data on the RAM. It fetches data from the RAM, right? So data is taken from hard disk to the RAM, and from RAM it is processed by the processor, right? We will again learn about the memory hierarchies, that is the kind of memories, the cache memory, the registers, the main memory, that is the RAM, and the secondary memory, that is the hard disk. And this all the devices we will read now are secondary storage devices. Okay, not the not the primary, but the secondary, that is the permanent ones. So all the storage we will read about are secondary storage devices. Optical disks, hard disks, flash disk drive are secondary storage devices. In the next chapter, when we read about computer hierarchy, memory hierarchies, we will learn about the primary memory as well in that chapter. Okay, so let's skip that, and we will read that in the next chapter. So what is a hard disk? It's a permanent storage area from where we can fetch data and process. Next is optical disks. An optical disk is a type of storage media that consists of flat, round portable disks made of metal, plastic, lacquer, and that is written and read by a laser. So how is a optical disc read? It is read by a laser ray. Okay, a laser ray is used for reading the segments of data on the optical disc. And laser ray, where the laser ray is provided? It is provided by the optical disc drive, that is the CD-ROM drive of your computer. Some optical disc formats are read-only, meaning users cannot write, save on the media. Others are read-write, which allow users to save data on the disk, just as they save on the hard disk. Nearly every personal computer today has some type of optical disc drive installed in the system unit. So they are already present in the CPU cabinet or the system unit of the computer. If you don't have, you can use a optical disc drive in the form of a USB, which is attached to the computer in the form of an external drive using a USB port. So in generally it is connected, it is there in the system unit of the computer, and you can use a CD or a DVD in that drive to read the compact disc or a DVD. So what is a optical disc? It's a disc that is read by a laser, and it may be of read write or only read only. So if it is a read only type format, then what will happen? You can read the contents of the CD, but you cannot write. If you want to read and write as well, but you need to have a CD-ROM having a format read or write. So you can save new data on the CD-ROM, and data can be read from the CD-ROM as well. A compact disc is a flat, round, portable metal storage medium that is actually 4.75 inches in diameter and less than 1/20th of inch thick of an inch thick. So 1/20th of an inch, it's thick, the thickness of the disc. Okay, and what is the diameter? It's 4.75 inches. You know, I think you know about the diameter. It is this distance from one point on the circumference to the opposite point, right? This is the diameter, and this is the radius. So the diameter is 4.75 inches of a CD-ROM. A compact disc ROM, which is an abbreviation, is a compact disc that may contain text, graphics, video, as well as sound. So it can contain data like text, data can be graphics, or it can be video or sound. So you can store your essay. If you have written an essay, if you have written a letter or some stories in a Word file, as you are submitting assignments in some Word file, you can store it in a CD-ROM. It may have some graphics in the Word file. You can store it. You can store individual graphics file. You can store a video file, or you can store the sound file as well. If there is a sound file like a music file, like some songs you have ever having, you can store it on the CD-ROM. So each of this kind of data can be there on the CD-ROM you are using. A CD-ROM can hold up to 700 MB of data. Can hold 700 MB of data, instructions and information. Data can be in the form of data. It can be some instruction or an information. Data CD-ROM drive is used to read data from CD-ROM disk. A DVD-ROM, which is an abbreviation of digital versatile disc read-only memory, or digital video disc read-only memory, is very similar to CD-ROM but can store more data. So what is the difference between a CD-ROM and a DVD-ROM? It has got more storage. It has got more storage than a CD-ROM. The DVD-ROM has got a storage capacity of 4 GB to 7.5 GB, but a CD-ROM has got only 700 MB. So how is it different? It is 700 megabytes, and 1 gigabyte is equal to 1024 megabyte. So it is far less than 1 GB, right? The capacity of a CD-ROM is lesser than 1 GB, and it is up to 4 GB in case of DVD-ROM. You will learn about the units of storage in the next chapter when you read about memory. Okay, so 700 MB, it means only a part of a GB. It is far less than 1 GB. 1024 MB of data is equal to 1 GB. So 700 MB is far less than that. But in case of a DVD-ROM, you have 4 GB of storage at least. You may have more than that, that is 7.5 GB of data. So both are same, but DVD-ROM is having more storage area than CD-ROM. Okay. Next is recordable CD and DVD. A CD which is recordable having CDR and DVD-R are multi-session compact discs on which you can record or own items such as text, graphics, audio. With CD-R and DVD-R, you can write one part of the disc at one time and on the other part later, and also write on each part only one time, and you cannot erase the disk contents. So you cannot erase. You can write it in multi-session. You are writing when you are writing in one session, it is recorded in one part of the CD or DVD. In the next session, when you will write again, it will be recorded in another part of the text. But the previous part which you have already recorded, you cannot remove it. You cannot erase it. Okay, it is recordable, not erasable. Rewritable. Rewritable, that is RW. Recordable means R. You can see CD-R, DVD-R. When it is rewritable, it will come, you have to mention it with RW. It will be written RW, rewritable, right? A CD which is rewritable and a DVD which is rewritable are essentially erasable discs. Erasable discs means what you have already written on the disk, you can erase it. You can remove that content. That allow you to write multiple times. These disks act like a hard disk, allowing you to write and rewrite data and information on it multiple times. To write on this disk, you must have CD DVD rewrite software and CD DVD rewrite drive. So not only if you have only a disk that is able to be rewritten is not enough. You need a software installed on your computer to rewrite a CD or a DVD. You need to have a rewritable drive also, that is installed in your CPU cabinet or the system unit of the computer, right? So recordable discs can be written in multiple sessions, but a rewritable disk can be used just like a hard disk. That is, you can erase what you have written and you can rewrite at that place with something else, right? So it is having some better features. You may make some mistake what you have stored. You may want to modify the contents what you have stored. So you can do that. You can erase that previous contents and you can store the new contents, the modified contents with a rewritable CD. Next is a Blu-ray disc. Blu-ray is a new DVD format which has higher capacity and better quality than standard DVDs. A Blu-ray disc Blu-ray disc ROM has storage capacity of 100 GB. Blu-ray drive and players are used to play or run Blu-ray discs. So it's having a capacity of 100 GB. Look at the capacity it is having, right? You can store up to 100 GB of data. So a Blu-ray is a DVD format which has higher capacity and better quality than standard DVDs. You can store you can store a Blu-ray drive. Just a minute. Okay. So it is having a higher capacity and better quality than a DVD. It is of about 100 GB, right? So a Blu-ray disc is having a greater capacity and greater capacity of storage, and the quality is also better. But for that you need to have separate kind of disk drives, that is Blu-ray disk drives. Next one is the flash drive. What is a flash drive? It is commonly referred to as a pen drive. A flash drive, also known as pen drives, are one of the newest form of computer storage devices that is plugged in universal serial bus or USB port on the computer. Pen drive are portable and lightweight. It is portable. What do you mean by portable? You can take it from one place to another. It is a lightweight device, so you will have no problem in carrying it from one place to the another. So you can well imagine how beneficial it is, because it is having a storage capacity of 512 MB. Nowadays it is no more available, I think. It is more than 2 GB. At least it is 2 GB nowadays. To 100 GB, 120 GB is also available, and you can transfer data at a very high speed. So 100 GB of data means you can store um, two or three libraries within your pen drive. So that is the efficiency of a, or that is the benefit you get from a pen drive, the advantage you obtain from a pen drive. You are carrying all the information that is contained within three or four libraries in physical form. You cannot carry, can you carry the books, all the books that will be accommodated within 100 GB? No. You will need two trucks or three trucks to carry the physical form of documents. But you can carry a pen drive within your pocket. So that is so powerful, right? It is referred to as a flash drive or pen drive and is used with a universal serial bus on a computer. Next one is a memory card. It is a removable storage device, usually not bigger than 1.5 inches in height or width. We can insert it or remove from a slot in a computer, mobile device or a card reader. With a memory card reader or writer, we can transfer the storage items such as digital photos, memory, and yes. So you can carry large amount of information within your pen drive or a flash drive. We were doing the memory card. A memory card is also a memory disk, a memory storage area which you can use in using a memory card reader in the with the computer, or a memory card reader is a separately available USB device. You can use it in the USB port of the computer. So you will find this kind of device in your smartphones, in your cameras. Digital cameras are using this kind of memory card, and they are having huge storage area. Next is cloud storage. What do you mean by cloud storage? It's an internet service. It's a storage service that you can avail with the help of internet. Actually, it's a server that gives you the storage area. You can keep your data on the server, and you can access that data after connecting to the server by logging into the server. So you need an active internet connection to get your data from the server. Once you store it on the server, you need to you can access it from any part of the world by logging into the server. So here you do not need to carry your own data. You can just access the server if you have an active internet connection. So what is cloud storage? Cloud storage is an internet service that provides storage facility to computer users. Some users choose cloud storage instead of storing data locally on hard disks or other media. Why they do so? They are smart enough. They will not carry the data with themselves. They will just log into the server and access their data from that place. Wherever they go, they will access it from that place. Through their smartphones or any other device that has an active internet connection. So what are the advantages of using a cloud storage? We can access files on the internet from any computer or device that has internet access. We can store large audio, video, graphic files on the internet instantaneously instead of spending time downloading to a local hard disk or other media. So if you are storing it on a local hard disk or a pen drive or some other media, you have to carry it to that place, right? You have to take care of the thing so that it is not getting lost, it is not getting physically damaged. You have to take care of all these things. But if you store it on a cloud storage, no question of taking care. You don't need to take care of the server. You are not taking care of the server which is providing you the storage. The server is giving the protection to your data. So that is the advantage. You can allow others to access your files on internet, so others can listen to an audio, watch a video clip or photo instead of sending the file to them via email message. Right? You can just share the link and give them the access right, and they can see that file with your permission. Can view time critical data and image immediately while away from main office or location. For example, doctors can view X-ray images from another hospital sitting at home or office or while on a vacation. So time critical data means you cannot give time to send data. You cannot give time to just transport that data, and you don't need either. Once the data is on the server or on the cloud storage, what will happen? The other people who is also connected to that server will get those images, will get those data instantaneously according to the speed of the internet. Instantaneously means it will be dependent on the speed of the internet they are having, right? So it is no more your concern. It is the internet concern, the network issue they are having. Right? A user can store off-site backups of data. You can store your data as a backup on the server. Right? If you have damaged your device, if your hard disk is physically damaged, it is not working, you can get those data which you have uploaded to the server on a new hard disk or any kind of disk you have replaced it with. So it works as a backup of data. So that are the advantages of using a cloud storage. Next is processing device. So what are the storage we have learned? We have learned about the flash drive. We have learned about the optical discs or the CD-ROM and the DVD-ROM, the Blu-ray discs, and we have learned about the hard disks. These are the storage devices we are using on our computer system. Next, we will see the processing device. What do you mean by processing? It's treating data according to instructions and changing it in the form of information, right? So you want to treat data in a way that will make it beneficial and meaningful for your purpose. So that is in the way you want to process the data. So who does that processing in the computer? The processor does that processing. And the processor is referred to as the central processing unit. It is within the system unit or fitted on the motherboard of the computer, right? It is also known as the brain of computer and performs all calculation and processes data into information. It receives the input from input devices and processes them before providing the processed result to the output devices. CPU consists of three units, that is arithmetic logic unit, control unit and memory unit. So there are three units of the CPU. The arithmetic logic unit, the component of the processor that performs arithmetic, comparison and logical operations. What are arithmetic operations? You are doing some addition, subtraction, division. These are all arithmetic operations. And when you want to check whether one number is more than the other, you are doing some comparison. Whether one number is equal to the other, you are doing some comparison. That is, comparison is also done by arithmetic and logic unit. And the logical operations, that is logical and or logical or. These are also done by the arithmetic logic unit of the computer. So the logical arithmetic and logical unit is a component of the processor that performs arithmetic, comparison and logical operations. What are arithmetic operations? These include the basic calculations like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Comparison operation involve comparing one data with another data, whether that is greater than, equal to or less than. Logical operations include the use of conditions along with logical operators such as and, or and not, right? So all these three operations are done by the arithmetic and logic unit of the processor. The control unit is another component of the processor that controls all the functions of a computer. It also checks the results given by the arithmetic logic unit and checks what to do and when to do. So it controls what? It controls all the functions of a computer. Like there are so many different units, like the memory unit, like the you have to manage the resources, the file system, the memory unit, the instruction, who is giving the instruction, which instruction is to be assigned, how are they executed. All these things are seen and taken care of by the control unit, right? So control unit is the component of the processor that controls the functions of a computer, like the input, memory management, and the output. These are the functions of the computer. It controls all the functions. It checks the results given by ALU. It even checks what to do and when to do. So it schedules. It acts as a scheduler. It even checks what to do and when to do. Right? If there is some job that is pending, the control unit switches the context of the job from the from one job to another. Switches the context. It is called switching of context. So there may be many jobs the computer is handling. So it switches from one context to another, from one job to another based on the queue. The job queue is there. Based on it, it will switch. Next is the memory unit. The memory unit or the memory holds the data that needs to be processed as well as the data that already been processed by the CPU. So when you are giving some instruction to process data, you are giving instruction that is a data, and you are also giving some data on which the instruction will work. So that is also there in the memory unit. The processor will act on the data and will execute the instruction you have given on the data and will store that processed data in the processor temporarily, and it will be there till the computer is running, till the computer is having the power. When you switch off, the memory unit will lose its content. So when you save the data on the main memory or the memory unit, it gets saved. It gets saved on the hard disk of the computer. That is the permanent storage area of the computer. So we will see about the memory hierarchies. I have already told you that we will go through the hierarchies in the next chapter, and we will be clear about it. So what are the different parts of the processor? The CPU, it is the arithmetic and logic unit that does the arithmetic operations, comparison operations, and logical operations. The control unit that controls, checks the work done by the arithmetic logic unit, and it checks what to be done and when to be done, right? The memory unit holds the data that is to be processed, and it also holds the data that has already been processed. So these are the three parts: ALU, control unit, and the memory unit in the CPU. These are the three units of the CPU or the processor. Okay, with that we have completed the chapter. In the next tutorial we will discuss the exercises. Okay, thank you all. So if you have got any question, you will write it in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubts in my next tutorial. Thank you.